have like two dreams, like a doctor and a famous basketball player. Should you take like the easy dream?
Oh, so between basketball player and doctor.
For you?
Well, the thing is, you have to. Nobody can tell you what to do. You have to decide your own. So try both, area and see which one fits better. Okay? Yes.
Which is the best.
Yes.
Is it accurate to say that, like, Buddhism puts more emphasis on character than on, like, supernatural beliefs? Is that true?
Like, what do you mean by character?
Like you were talking about, like the content of who you are is what matters, your actions, behavior. So that's put in like a higher regard than like believing certain sets of supernatural beliefs.
Like when you say supernatural belief?
Well, like say like it's like a set of gods or.
Oh right, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, a lot of like American Buddhists, like non-ethnically white or black or Hispanic, non-Asian Buddhists, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. They become Buddhists because what? They see Buddhism as anything but Christianity. You know what I mean? They have so many scars, like especially Catholic, or it's like the Jewish, the people of Jewish background, they feel that they can have personal experience, whereas Jewish tradition, they don't have as much, So they are attracted to Buddhism because of that. And however, only to find out that Buddhism has its own baggage too. So, however, the difference is that all those supernatural belief, whatever that is. For example, we have the Bodhisattva called Boyan-Bosai, and this temple is Boyan-sa, which means in one particular Bodhisattva, Boyan-Bosai, and Boyan-Bosai, right? 오른쪽이 보현보살이 왼쪽이 무슨 그렇죠. 지금 봉황 앉아 계십니다. 관세음보살? 어느? 여기 관세음보살? 대세. 아, 여기 그러면 아미타 부처님이네요. 아니 근데 보현보살이 모형보살이거든요. 이름만 그래. 이제 불쌍해가지고 다음 판에 보형보살 꼭 보시세요. I was saying that how come there's no Boyan Bodhisattva? The name of your temple is Boyan Bodhisattva, and we have two different Bodhisattvas. There's a Guanyin Bodhisattva and then Deseji Bodhisattva. Anyway, okay. So the point is, we do have this belief that in the universe there's, the incredibly compassionate and who are just about to become a Buddha, they vow to stay in this world, and so that they can rescue and help other people and protect Buddha's teachings and whatnot. So those people are called bodhisattvas, right? And to a lot of non-believers, that sounds like just like supernatural belief, right? So, however, the difference is this. Because we have this, the Buddhist teachings about interconnectedness and selfless nature, what it means is that whenever we bow to Buddha or whenever we bow to Bodhisattva, it means that we are also bowing to the same quality within me. Okay? So we are invoking the same quality within me. So as I'm bowing to, Amitabha Buddha, I am invoking the same quality of I'm going to create the universe so that other sentient beings who are suffering, they can be reborn. In other words, I am invoking incredible, infinite compassion within me. Okay? So what you see outside externally, you can also find inside. So there is a difference. Okay? So it always goes back to your own psychology, your own, how you perceive your own life. Any other question, maybe? Yeah.
Why there is so many Buddha?
Oh yes. Why? How come there are so many Buddha? The reason why we ask this question is a lot of times, sometimes the Christians, especially like 19th century, 18th century European Christians, they discover all these Hindus and Buddhists and Taoists, they have so many gods. and therefore, there is a the religion that believe whole bunch of God, and then they evolve, and then when there is a true religion, then people will subscribe to religion that advocate monolithic God, monotheism God, God that there's only one God, this sort of like evolutionary scheme is just so imperative. What do you call it? It is the result of 식민지, colonialism. It is the result of colonialism. Just keep that in mind, okay? Sort of colonial European superiority kind of assumptions. However, how come there are so many Buddhas? And how come there are so many Bodhisattvas? Oh, by the way, you can ask the same question to Christian brothers and sisters too. Even though they claim that that we are monotheistic, blah blah blah. If you go and actually observe, like in Catholic, we have a whole bunch of saints. We have a whole bunch of different form manifestations of Mother Mary. And then even if you are hardcore fundamental Christians, the Protestants, you discover that there's an element of Holy Spirit, who is oftentimes described as having feminine quality, which I find very fascinating. Okay, so let's just go back. What I'm trying to say is the Buddha nature within you, it is equal. Okay, having realization that everything what you see doesn't have independent, separate nature, that realization is same. However, different people might have that kind of realizations, and so that we have different, like a name. However, it is the same realizations, and the reason why we have many different Buddha is because those different Buddha make the promise, make vow that I will, once I become a Buddha, I will do X, Y, and Z. Like for example, Amitabha Buddha said, if I become a Buddha, I will create a particular pure land. It's called incredibly pure because there's no thought of hatred, delusion, or jealousy or anger arise. So if you are born there, you don't have that kind of negative quality automatically, and then you are going to become, you will become Buddha. Okay, in that land, and so he created that. So he made a vow, and different Bodhisattva and different Buddha made a vow. So people pray to that particular Buddha because that particular Buddha made that particular vow, that particular promises. Does that answer your question? However, the essence, the realization is the same. Okay. Yes.
When during service. When Buddhists recite verses,
yes,
what's the purpose? For people that, say for instance, other religious people come in and see our service, they'll think it's very, very different to them. What's the purpose of the reciting of the verses?
Like verses such as like Panashigyo?
Yeah, right.
Chanting, yeah. That's another thing. They wanted to come here and just do sitting meditation, and then they only to find out that you do have a whole bunch of liturgy, The Buddhism, there's two different way of approaching. The first way is you sit and you reflect. You see that everything is impermanent. You see that there's a selfless nature within you. You see that everything is interconnected. If you have that, realization, of yourself, then that's great. However, oftentimes we need some kind of tool, like somebody who can teach us, remind us that particular teaching, so that we are reciting that verse to remind ourselves. Like for example, Panyashimgyo is precisely about the absence of our self. Like it's just invoking selflessness nature. So he calls it emptiness. Emptiness empty of our own self nature. It is not to say we do not exist. That's not what it means. It means that whatever that we hold on to, it will inevitably change, including body, mind, thoughts, belief system, whatever you have, relationships. So that's
about enlightenment. on Buddhism. Is it Buddhism you try to find enlightenment yourself?
Yes. Okay. So Buddhism is about sometimes called awakening or sometimes called enlightenment. Okay. So what does it mean? Enlightenment or awakening means what? Like when you say awakening, it means as opposed to what? No. As opposed to sleeping, right? You sleep and then you awake, right? You sleep and you awake, right? And so enlightened is you are enlightened to a certain kind of truth. That is, you didn't know before something, and then you know. So the difference between knowing and unknowing is huge. Just like as you are about to enter your apartment and you see snake, and knowing that it is just a piece of rope and not knowing it is a piece of rope, the difference is what? Huge. Because you will feel a lot of negative and fears and anxiety and all of that. But once you know, all just vanish, right? And once you know that you are dreaming, and the tiger that appears in your dream, and once you know that it is just a dream, then what happened? All the anxiety and fear just disappear at that moment. Likewise, the Buddhism is just knowing, fully becoming aware through your meditation that everything is interconnected and there is no unchanging core self and everything is impermanent. If you can fully be aware of that, then you are awake. Yes?
Like when I asked my mom if she's been enlightened, she said yes. But how do you truly understand when you've been enlightened?
Like when she said she's enlightened.
Fully awake,
She was so confident. She's like fully enlightened.
She's always she says she's been enlightened. But how can you truly know for yourself that you reached enlightenment?
Okay. Like some people ask, I've been meditating for 100 days. And is it possible that I can be awake without knowing? No, you know. Like I'm telling you, you sit meditate, even little bit of progress, Okay? Yes.
I find it unfortunate in regards to Christianity because in many ways I feel that the Christ was Buddha. Because as people were killing him, only thing he saw was love and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I personally have come across Christians, I grew up with Christian background and studied philosophy, that when the dogma of you are wrong, you are this, when that dogma transpires, it's almost like they are inevitably helping me become a better Buddhist. And at the same time a better Christian.
Right.
To only be in the state of love and compassion and the face of because as these entities were killing Jesus, he only said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
Right.
They were not in awareness that their actions were really a reflection of themselves.
Right.
Now, so then my question is, whether there's dissension in one's family, when arguments happen, or hatred happens within children and moms and dads and wives and husbands, that then would the ultimate Buddhist practice be to have love and to only see love and compassion rather than getting caught in this sort of dissension? Because if we create everything, then in a way, aren't we creating that dissension in the family? And then hence now we have this dissension in the world. Everyone's mind is insane, and so now the world is falling apart. You see?
Yeah. This is another very interesting phenomena in America. There is a book just came out last year. Without Buddha, I couldn't have become Christians. So there is a book. It's a Union Theological Seminary in New York. The professor, he wrote that book. So by being a Buddhist, he was able to become a better Christian because a lot of questions that he wasn't able to answer, and he was able to find it while reflecting Buddhist truth. So I completely agree with you that by being acquainted with Buddhist truth or practicing it, you will become a better Christian. Absolutely.
Yes, because it's all love and compassion.
Right, but also if you speak to fundamental